What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope all you're having a great day so far today. Getting into this episode of GH, I am so happy that Carly had the foresight to call Diane and talk to her before she made any move. As far as like trying to get Jason, off these murder charges. Carly's plans, I will say they're good plans, but they're risky plans with no guarantee of success. You know what I mean? But that's like anybody's plan or anybody's idea. There's no guarantee of success. Um, so I'm not really mad at her for coming up with that idea, like to use Sasha's unborn child, to use her pregnancy to get Gladys to, change her story about seeing Jason, dump that gun for Cyrus or whatever. It's a good plan, it is, but even Carly didn't even really want to do that plan because she felt horrible about doing it because she didn't want to betray Sasha. And she knows that Sasha didn't want anybody to know about the pregnancy. She definitely didn't want Brando to know about it. Um, but Carly felt like, it's a necessary evil. It's something that I have to do, you know. And Diane told her, she was like, Sonny dealt with the same thing when he was in power. He made a lot of decisions that he didn't want to do, but he felt he had to for the survival of his organization, for the survival of his family. Sometimes you got to make those tough decisions. Um, I would have thought it was fucked up if Carly would have did that plan. I really would have, but I think it's a necessary plan. But my only issue with it is, who's to say that's enough to keep, to get Gladys to recant her story? Because yes, she loves her son. We all know that. She loves Brando. But I feel like Gladys loves financial security more than her love for her son. I think money is more important to her. Because we all know if Cyrus finds out that Brando's the father, hell, he wants Brando to find out who the father is. And if he finds out that Brando's the father, he's going to kill Brando. We all know it. He's definitely going to kill that man. And that's what Carly's banking on. Like, she's hoping that, Gladys will realize that and choose the safety of her son over money. But we all know Gladys is not built that way. Diane knows it too. Like, Gladys is just a sleaze. Like, she's an unfit parent. She's like the poster child for a horrible parent. Um, but Diane told Carly, scrap that plan. That plan that you had, that's all well and good, but I think I got another way. That way, at least with this plan for the time being, it may, whatever plan Diane came up with is something that will keep Sasha's secret a secret for the time being. That way Carly doesn't have to use it. But just in case Diane's plan doesn't work, at least Carly still has that plan that she can use. You know what I mean? So I'm glad Diane was there to give her an alternative. Um, and basically Carly was like, she feels terrible, whatever. And Diane let her know real quick. She was like, you know what? You need to take that out. She was like, I understand that you feel bad or whatever. But she let her know, being in this organization, being in this business, you got to throw your feelings out the window, which is so true. You basically have to be stone cold. And that's just the nature of the business. Like they say all the time, you gotta get out your feelings because ain't no money in your feelings. You know what I mean? And it's so freaking true. Like, to be in organized crime, you have to just be just a brick wall. And that's just how Carly has to be right now. In order for her survival, for the family survival, you gotta throw your feelings out the window. As much as she feel bad for Sasha and stuff, you gotta do what you gotta do. And if using Sasha to get Jason out, that's what you got to do. You know, However unfortunate it is, it might be something that you have to do. You know what I mean? But my only thing is, there's no guarantee that that's gonna work. You know what I mean? So of course, Carly called Gladys and was like, "Come over to my house. I'm gonna send a driver to come pick you up. Bring your ass over here. I got something important to discuss with you." Now I want to see if Gladys is gonna take the bait. Let's see if Gladys is gonna do it, because we all know Gladys will. I feel like Gladys will shift to the highest bidder. She might be afraid of Cyrus or whatever, and Cyrus might be, giving her some good money. But if Carly can make the offer better and pump more fear into her ass, she'll jump back on Carly's side. because that's just the type of vulture that she is. That's what vultures do. So anyway, moving on from that, I just want to know, is the Quartermain mansion that big that Michael and Willow did not hear Olivia screaming? Because they were literally in the next room. Like, they're in that living room or whatever. They're right there in the family room with the doors closed. And Olivia was screaming her head off because Valentine walked in on her, damn near naked or whatever. And I'm like, she was screaming her head off. And I'm like, they didn't hear that? How could you not hear it? It ain't like that room is soundproof. That shit was so funny, though, the way she was just screaming. She was pissed off that Valentine was in that house. But I understand why Monica allowed it. It's that old philosophy. Keep your friends close, your enemies closer. And that's pretty much how Monica saw it. Let's keep them close. You know what I mean? Because while he tries to keep an eye on Brooklyn, they can keep an eye on him. Maybe get some inside information about how he's running ELQ. See how he's doing stuff, what his plans are, where he's vulnerable. It's a good plan. But him staying in that mansion is gonna be hilarious. Like, it really is. And the whole time he was down there and stuff, and they were talking about it, Brooklyn was sitting there flirting with him too. They was flirting with each other. Cause she was like, "Oh, that's a sight." Him in the towel. He was like, "Likewise." I said, "Oh shit, okay." Like, I mean, cause let's be clear, it's not like they hate each other. You know what I mean? Like, Brooklyn, she might not like Valentine like that. Like, she might not care for him that much, but they were sexually attracted to each other, so it ain't, it's not like the relationship he had with Lulu. That was hatred on both parts. But this is a little bit different. So Olivia right now ain't got no choice but to roll with it. And you should have seen the look on Ned's face when Robert showed up. When Robert and Anna showed up and Olivia came down them steps, and she greeted Robert, and the way Ned's face turned up when she did that, like, Ned was definitely pissed off. And when Robert and Olivia were in the living room talking and stuff, drinking coffee, and Ned came in there to let him know that Monica was in the study, like, you could tell, like, Ned feels like something's going on between the two of them. Ned definitely feels like, he sees the chemistry between them, and he's not liking it. But I feel like Olivia wants to work on her marriage to Ned. I think the biggest problem is every time they try to turn a corner, Ned is always talking about business. He's always talking about ELQ and I think she's tired of that. It's like, why does everything have to be about the company? Because she realized why they're allowing Valentine to even stay in the house, to make sure that he gives up those ELQ shares. He gives up Brooklyn shares back to her. And that's what she was pissed about, because she was like, that's all y'all care about is the bottom line around here, which is ELQ. And I mean, it's understandable because that's the family company, that's the legacy of Edward, and that's the legacy of the family. So I get it, but you can't always be about business. And I think Ned is starting to realize that, like, it got to be more to life than just ELQ. You got to focus on your wife over here, your family. That's what you need to focus more on. And that's where their problem started. Him being more focused on business than what's going on at home. And that, those arguments led to them separating, him sleeping with Alexis. Like, it was a domino effect. It was like a chain reaction. So, Ned just needs to get back on the ball if he want to get his wife back. I mean, clearly they still want to work on this marriage, and they just need to figure out how to do it. It was sad though, honestly, when Anna had to break the news to Robert about Sean Donnelly passing and stuff. It's sad, when we lose a legend and stuff, it really is messed up. It really is, a dope actor, a dope character. And it's sad that, but then again, he lived a long life. He lived a long, fruitful life, a great life. So it can be something said for that. I can't wait for his tribute episode though. I think the tribute episode is gonna be amazing. And you could definitely see the look on Robert's face. Like, Robert was just, whew. Robert, he just looked like he was ready to break down. Anna talking about she wasn't gonna go to the funeral or whatever. I'm like, ma'am, go to that funeral. I mean, I understand she want to stay in Port Charles because of Chase and stuff, but you need to go back to that funeral. You need to get to that funeral and stuff and pay your respects to your good friend. Even Finn was trying to tell her that, like, go, because you'll regret it if you don't. Because even Valentin was telling her to go. You gotta go. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. Um, because she wanted to try to get in touch with Sean because when Tiffany got poisoned by Faison, maybe he had some notes of an antidote or whatever that she can find to help Finn give the treatment to Chase. So that way she ain't got to go crawl into Peter ass. You know what I mean? And it was so funny because while her and Valentin were talking, Brooklyn was sneaking out the house. Valentin was like, oh my God, she's going to be a handful. Like, she just keeps sneaking away from his ass. I could definitely see chemistry between Valentin and Anna though. The chemistry between them has always been pretty good to me. I think it is. So I don't think it's gonna be long before they probably end up together at some point. I just don't see it between her and Finn. Like her and Finn are cool, but I don't think that relationship ever gonna work between them. I think a relationship between Anna and Valentin is more plausible. They got the history, the background. I definitely think it'll fit more for them than her and Finn. So anyway, moving on from that. Speaking of Finn, um, he just need to go ahead and just tell Chase what the hell is going on. Because Chase at this point is giving him all type of attitude. Like Chase is through. Chase is ready to get the hell out that hospital. Honestly, I can't blame Chase. He knows I'm the same way. Like when I know somebody's like looking in my face and they're lying, and I keep asking you about it and you still won't tell me, that's gonna piss me off too. You know what I mean? So I totally understand where Chase is coming from. And not only it's costing him a fortune every day that he stays in that hospital, every minute, because he was looking over his hospital bill, and it's so jacked up because Jordan had that same problem when she was in the hospital. They work for the city. They're city police, and they got good medical insurance, I'm sure, and the medical insurance covers up to 90%. But even with that 90% coverage, that 10% that they got to pay is still astronomical. It's still thousands of dollars they still got to pay, depending on what's going on with them. Um, and that's pretty messed up. You know what I mean? That is pretty messed up. But, Finn offered to pay for it. And Chase again gave him attitude and was like, no, I do for myself. He was like, I take care of myself. I respect that though. I'm the same way. I respect it. You don't want to take nothing from nobody. I get it, but sometimes you got to swallow that pride because them hospital bills ain't no joke. Like you will forever be in debt if you know what I mean. Like you just got to take the help. It ain't like Finn ain't got the money. And he's offering to take care of it for you. Why not? But Finn need to just go ahead and tell him what the hell going on with Peter. Like that man is a cop, so you do need to let him know what's going on. Willow, she want to know from Finn too what the hell is going on because Chase gave her basically, power to ask those questions. Like he gave his consent for her to know what's going on with his medical treatment and stuff like that. I just wish that she didn't have to continue with this stupid ass lie that her and Chase are still a couple just to appease him. Like I understand he going through a lot and now is not the time to kick him while he's down. I get it. But at some point you need to just start kicking. Because he need to know the truth about what the hell going on. Like no matter when you tell that man, I could tell Chase gonna be on he gonna be on something. Chase is gonna be in his feelings. Because if you see the attitude he's giving right now, I could imagine the attitude he gonna give when he find out about Michael and Willow being together as a couple. I can just imagine that attitude. Because I'm not used to Chase acting like this. Chase is normally generally a nice guy, mild mannered, you know what I'm saying? So to see him like this or attitude, I'm not used to that shit. I'm like, where'd this come from? I'm not used to it. But Finn better figure out something, like tell that man the truth. So anyway, moving on from that. Maxie is trying her damnness to, get Peter the hell away from her. Like she's trying to get her plan into motion. Brooklyn already got her shit on her end together. Like she done snuck away from Valentin. She called the old friend of hers and was like, look, If anybody asks, I'm telling the family I came to visit you, so I'm gonna tell you what to say if they come looking for me. I just need to get away for a while. So she handling business on her end. Maxie's trying to get shit done on her end by, going to this little spa or whatever. Um, and of course, Peter trying to come up with reasons for her not to go, but he was like, all right, cool, you want to go? Chloe got to go with you. And, Maxie was protesting at first, but then, Maxie was like, all right, cool. Maxie was like, she can come because Maxie got a plan for that ass. She was like, I'm going to book her a little treatment. That's going to be like 2 hours. So that's enough time for me to slip out. I was like, I know that shit, right, Maxie? Maxie said, nah, I'm coming up with a plan B. I did love that scene between her and Britt, where Britt finally got a hold of her, and she was pretending that she was some mom or whatever named Trish. That I guess her son and Trish's kid used to hang out, so she was pretending or whatever. And once she used that name, Britt knew Peter was there. She was like, "Yep, Peter there." So they was basically talking in code language or whatever. And the whole time they were talking, Peter had this look on his face like a stone cold killer look. I don't think he bought that whole conversation she was having. I don't think he bought it. It was something in his face that screamed like, I'll kill you right now. That little cat and mouse game Maxie was playing with him, that shit was hilarious. Cause she was like, "Oh, I'll do whatever I gotta do to protect our child." And the look on her face, the way she like lowered her eyes at him and stuff, cut her eyes at him, I was like, "Yep. If looks could kill Peter, you would be a dead man." Speaking of Britt, her and Jason was just giving me all type of good vibes today. They really were. I love them as a couple. Well, potential couple. You know, the way she be looking at Jason and stuff, Britt is smitten with that man. Like she is just, she all about Jason right about now. Um, and then on top of that, Jason kept trying to get her to go to the hospital because they got the fake passports. They're in Canada. She can get free, medical treatment or whatever, or a free physical or whatever. All she gotta do is go there with the fake passport. She keep protesting about going because she's scared about what they gonna tell her. Listen, the only thing to fear is fear itself. There's nothing for you to fear. You just need to fear nothing. Just go in there, find out what you're dealing with, and you'll deal with it that way. And Jason even was like, "Yo, I'll come with you." See, that's how I know, they like each other. Jason definitely is smitten with her too. You can see it all over his face because Jason been smiling a little bit more than what he normally does. Because Jason definitely don't smile that much, and every time he around Britt, he just be cheesing too. I like that little lighthouse place that they're staying in or whatever. That place is nice. It look all cozy and shit. I like it. So anyway, moving on from that. Lord, Sonny and Nina are running around in Corinne or wherever the hell they are, trying to talk to the local residents or whatever, because they're trying to build the case against Elijah at this point. And they're getting more and more information from the local residents. So basically, what Elijah is doing is what anybody would do, normal developers and stuff, trying to buy people out, the little small businesses and stuff, trying to offer them money to leave. And when they refuse, that's when they start amping up the drama by bringing like high crime to the town and all that, like hiring people to rob it and all that good stuff, just so they would be more inclined to sell. So basically, what he does is he buys the properties for very dirt cheap and he sells them to, developers for a lot of money, just so they could build strip malls and Elijah could line his pockets. And now he's trying to do it at Nixon Falls. So they need proof. And Sonny was asking Nina, was she gonna send her photographers, like her reporters and all that down there? Of course, Nina's not gonna send her reporters down there because any one of her reporters come down there, they're gonna know who Sonny is and they're gonna recognize them, and it's gonna be over for her. So of course she wants to do all this herself. I'm like, you ain't slick. So while they were talking, they saw, Sonny saw a guy that he recognized, and one of the guys was somebody, I guess, who tried to rob the TNO before or whatever. That Sonny kicked out of the TNO when he was pointing that gun at him and stuff. So he recognized him. Like they're basically just doing whatever they can at this point to build the case against Elijah, so they could shut down his attempts to, make millions off of other people by, just dismantling their towns and shit, building up these strip malls and getting rid of mom and pop shops that's been around for 30 and 40 years. I was like, that's all well and good, but I'm gonna need for this storyline to wrap up very quickly because we got business in Port Charles that I need Sonny to go take care of, like ASAP. Like, yeah, we need to get that taken care of today. So anyway, this was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it. Hit the comment section, let me know what y'all thought about it, and I will see you all later. Hope you all have a great day. Peace.